Did you know that before Nepal became a country, it was a land of tiny kingdoms, each fighting to survive? Hello and welcome to Global Facts Novel. I'm Avin and today we're exploring what Nepal was like before it became a unified nation. In just a few minutes, you'll see what Nepal looked like before it became a country. Long before Nepal became a single unified nation, this region was divided into many small independent kingdoms, each ruling its own territory. Nepal's mountainous geography made communication and cooperation extremely difficult. As a result, rulers focused more on protecting their own lands than forming alliances or building a larger state. This constant struggle for power meant stronger kingdoms often attacked weaker ones. Over time, large kingdoms would break apart while smaller ones disappeared. It was a never-ending cycle of division and conflict, one that would eventually come to an end. And nowhere was this division more visible than in the Kathmandu Valley. One of the most important regions during this period was the Kathmandu Valley. Instead of being ruled by a single king, the valley was divided into three powerful kingdoms: Kangtipur, now Kathmandu; Patan, now Lalitpur; and Bhatgaon, now Bhaktapur. These kingdoms were ruled by the Malla kings and became centers of art, culture, trade, and architecture. Many of the temples and places we see in Kathmandu Valley today were built during this time. However, despite their cultural strength, the Malla kingdoms were politically divided. Rivalries between the kings weakened the valley from within. This division made the kingdoms culturally strong but vulnerable to outside forces. But the Kathmandu Valley was not the only region divided into kingdoms. Far from the Kathmandu Valley, western Nepal was also divided into many small kingdoms. These kingdoms were grouped into two major sets: the Baise Rajya, meaning 22 kingdoms, and the Chaubisi Rajya, meaning 24 kingdoms. These hill states were ruled independently and often fought for land, resources, and power. While some kingdoms grew strong temporarily, constant rivalry and internal conflicts prevented lasting unity. The lack of cooperation made these states politically unstable and vulnerable, keeping western Nepal fragmented for generations. And this pattern of division was not limited to the hills of western Nepal. In the eastern hills and southern plains, the situation was similar. These regions were ruled by several independent kingdoms, including Makwanpur, Bijaypur, and Chaudandi. The Terai region was especially important because of its fertile land and trade routes connecting Nepal to India. Despite these advantages, the kingdoms remained separate and often competed with each other. Without unified leadership, the eastern and Terai kingdoms were vulnerable to both internal conflicts and external influence. From the hills to the Terai, Nepal remained divided and full of conflict. So why unifying all these kingdoms so challenging? I hear you ask. The answer lies in geography, culture, and politics. First, Nepal's mountainous terrain made travel and communication extremely difficult. Second, each kingdom had its own unique culture, traditions, and identity. Rulers were proud of their independence and often resisted giving up their authority. Third, there was no central power to coordinate or enforce alliances. Unifying authority, the cycle of rivalry, division, and conflict continued for centuries. Together, these factors kept Nepal fragmented and set the stage for a single leader to eventually change the course of history. Nepal, before unification, was a land of diversity and division. From the Malla kingdoms of the Kathmandu Valley to the fragmented hill states in the west and the independent kingdoms of the east and Terai. The region was made up of dozens of small rival kingdoms. Geography, local pride, and political rivalry kept these kingdoms separate for centuries, making unity extremely difficult. Yet this story laid the foundation for the country we know today, a nation shaped by its challenges and rich cultural heritage. Understanding this past gives us a deeper appreciation of Nepal's journey, from a land of many rulers to a unified nation. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to Global Facts Novel for more interesting history and global facts. This video is part 1, which explains the state of kingdoms before unification in Nepal. The next part will cover how Prithvinarayan Saha and his allies unified these kingdoms into a single independent country. And let us know in comments which country's hidden history should we explore next.